right now. Towards the end of the year, you probably don't think that this is a good time to look for a job or maybe move ahead to a new job if you're thinking of making that move. But it actually is, and we're going to give you some tips right now on networking right now with someone who knows, and she's been all over with Apple, HP, Cisco, the Apollo Group. Dr. Tracey Wilen is joining us. I can't believe I used the word Christmas, Tracey. Does it seem like we've just automatically skipped Thanksgiving? That's just a little blip on the radar. Next Thursday, it's like, oh yeah, Thanksgiving, but Christmas. Where's the time gone?
Yes, I agree with you. We somehow just went from Halloween into Christmas, and we forgot about what I think is the most important holiday for networking, which is Thanksgiving, and it's all about family, friends, and having a good time, and not a bad time to start scoping out opportunities.
So let's take advantage of your expertise, Dr. Tracey, and maybe help out our Relevant Radio listeners at 877-766-3777, getting to that next level of success. Networking. You say the networking word, and very often you will hear people say, oh, I'm just not any good at that. Oh, I wish I knew how to do that. Oh, I don't understand how to do it. And I'm terrible at networking. I mean, the only way I've networked is the fact that we're on 37 stations here on Relevant Radio. Other than that, forget it. So what would be the first thing to get our big toe into the pool of networking? What would we do if we've got an aversion to that?
Well, John, and I think that Thanksgiving is a good time to practice some skill building around networking because it's relaxed. People may not be aware that a lot of budgets get set at the end of December and released in January. So this is where it's a good time to reach out to people, get to know them. But, first make a list. Just make a list of what activities are going on in November and December where maybe you can meet a couple of new people that you haven't met before. And this can include holiday events and parties and drop-in activities. And maybe think about some of the activities you skipped last year that maybe you want to do this year. Maybe your neighbor invited you over and you skipped that one, or the homeowners association, or the PTA, or the work party, and you skipped it, but maybe this year you want to go and just meet a couple of new people. So make a list. That's the first one.
Now, if you're going to make a list and try to scope out exactly how you're going to network and use holiday parties as a way to do this, what if you've been downsized, you're in between jobs right now, and you always have to tell that story? You feel embarrassed to tell that story about why you're not working when everybody else is. How do you overcome that? How do you tell that story?
Yeah, so I recommend a communication plan. So get your elevator pitch together, which is, a 10 or 20 second sound bites. It might, so that, if you're asked that awkward question, how's work, and you haven't been working, you can say, my company has transitioned, and I was in this role, and I am looking for XYZ. So I was in this company, I was in manufacturing, I'm looking for procurement, project management, and inventory management positions. Perhaps you know of something. And and be very positive and just move right into that transition statement and move on.
Because chances are somebody will say, hey, I know somebody, come over here and meet my friend Dr. Tracey. That could very well happen.
That's right. So here's the thing, which is why I really like the holidays. People are relaxed, people are very friendly, and they have time to think. And if you're in a casual setting, they'll say, I remember this guy, saying he had a couple of open positions. I don't know if it's real. Let me give you his name. Or let me just, I'm going to see him at a party next week. Let me just give him your info just in case that opening is still there. So yes, I think it is a good time because people are more generous with their time and more relaxed about making connections.
So we're learning about making a list, making a time plan, preparing that communication plan, the elevator speech if you're between jobs and you want to explain why, and you're going to holiday parties as well to network. That's what we're talking about, networking here at 10 after on Morning Air on Relevant Radio. What else do I do? Let's back up to Thanksgiving again, because you mentioned Thanksgiving is a good way to network. I think of Thanksgiving, I think of just getting together with the relatives, and I'm kind of hard pressed to figure out how I might network with them.
Well, here's a strategy. If you're going to Thanksgiving dinners or Thanksgiving get-togethers with your friends or family, everybody has their favorite seat. Why not try a different seat at the table next to maybe people who you usually don't talk to? Because someone's kid may actually be in a great company and know someone else in that company. Or someone's new girlfriend or boyfriend might be working somewhere or knows someone that you've never met before. Or when you get to the hors d'oeuvre party, make time to try to meet 3 new people. That, because I know we always migrate. We're all shy. We always migrate to that friendly face that we've known before. So just start to work the room. And you don't have to spend a lot of time and the whole time, but just start to work the room a little bit.
So can you give us a little help in working the room? I'm one of those shy people, in a room full of folks, it's like, let me see. Oh, there's no friendly face here. I'll try to look busy. I'll try to look like I'm always eating. So maybe, so maybe I fit it. No, and a lot of us are in that situation, especially with these holiday parties. So what would I do to break my own ice?
That's right. So here are some easy questions. I mean, number one, you can always compliment somebody on their ugly Christmas sweater or their Thanksgiving sweater.
In fact, that's how Dr. Tracey and I met.
You can always do that because, that opens up the door. But here are some basic questions. How are you planning to spend, your holiday season? And people will usually say, I'm flying here to see friends and family, or my family's coming in, and that opens up dialogue. Or what do you typically do during the holiday seasons? Do you get a tree, or do you go to services, or, how do you spend your time? Or 3 is just, you can focus on a work. If you really want to open up the channel about talking about work. Do you get a lot of time off from work during the holidays, and what do you typically do? And then someone might say, I get the week off, or we have a manufacturing shutdown for that week, and typically, we go away, or we spend a lot of time with the kids, or, we do all these different things. And then it just creates small talk. Or you could talk about, what are some of your favorite dishes, during Thanksgiving? Does your family have any interesting traditions? I did this one year. Oh, my goodness. Everybody seems to have the flagship turkey, but then everybody always has a culture dish. It was amazing. I heard about everything from spring rolls to unique pierogies to Italian bouillabaisse, all of these different side dishes that families now integrate into their Thanksgivings.
So that small talk it just starts morphing into the fact that, I met that Tracey. She's got a great personality. She's a good conversationalist. Even though you may be the shyest person in the world, that's a great way to showcase some skills. And boy, is that the Holy Spirit working through you at a party. As we learn how to network this morning, do you need some help networking? Can we actually put you in these situations that we all find ourselves in going through the holidays to maybe get to that next level of success, or maybe find that next job? We've got the expert with Dr. Tracey Wilen here, 877-766-3777 at 14 after the hour, morning air on Relevant Radio.
This is Franciscan Media's Saint of the Day for November 20th. Today we celebrate Saint Rose Philippine Duchesne. Born into a wealthy French family in 1769, Rose learned political skills from her father and a love of the poor from her mother. Without telling her parents, she entered the convent at age 19 and remained despite their opposition. As the French Revolution broke out, the convent was closed. She began taking care of the poor and sick, opened a school for street urchins, and risked her life helping priests in the underground. Later, Rose tried unsuccessfully to revive religious life at the old convent. Joining the young Society of the Sacred Heart with 3 other nuns, she soon became superior of the novitiate. Longing to go to America and work among the Indians, Rose and her sisters were sent instead to a Missouri settlement that offered almost every frontier hardship imaginable. In poor health at age 72, Rose finally got her lifelong wish when a new mission was founded at Sugar Creek, Kansas, among the Potawatomi tribe. Although unable to learn their language, the people embraced Rose and honored her with the name Woman Who Prays Always. Mother Rose Duchesne died in 1852 and was canonized in 1988.
There's more about the saints along with the Saint of the Day app at relevantradio.com, keyword saint. Saint of the Day is a production of Franciscan Media.
Good morning, 16 after the hour, morning air on Relevant Radio. Is your cell phone company pro-life? Charity Mobile is actively working to build a culture of life in America. With your help, they support pro-life and Catholic charities. More information at CharityMobile.com. At CharityMobile.com. We are using our time and our talent today to get to that next level, using the gifts that the Holy Spirit has given us. We call it networking here. That's probably a secular label, and we're learning how to network with Dr. Tracey Wilen. Her brand new book, Employed for Life, 21st Century Career Trends. That's why I can't get ahead, Tracey. I'm still in the last century. I got to get into the 21st century. There's a conversation starter for you this morning. But we're learning about networking today, and let's see if we can help out Brenda, who's listening in Wisconsin at 877-766-3777. Brenda, good morning. You're on with Dr. Tracey.
Good morning, and thank you for this wonderful topic. I have a relative who does not have a 4-year degree. It's in the health area. She started at the bottom of the rung in a local hospital. She's been there 37 years, worked her way up into the marketing department. It's been very successful. But then the hospital became part of a larger hospital, and now corporate is taking over. And there are 3 people in the marketing department. She will be now the 3rd person to be let go at the day after Thanksgiving. So her big concern is to get another job in the hospital. She'll have to, again, start at the very bottom, and she's not even sure if she'll get hired, for some jobs, because if they're going to say you need a 4-year degree, she's out of luck. But we've encouraged her to look outside the hospital, even though she'll lose a lot of benefits and things. Still is really lacking in self-confidence with not having a 4-year degree. In fact, I think she probably had like a 1-year program.
Wow, Brenda, you're giving her great advice. Thanks for sharing her story. So, couple of thoughts here. If she's still working, it's still a good time to network around the hospital for other jobs. I don't know the situation, but if she can fit into other roles there, because it's always easiest to get jobs and opportunities at where you are.
Sure.
I don't know if that's possible. Number 2, I love your advice about looking at adjacent and similar industries. Healthcare is one of the high growth industries, one just because we're living longer, we have more boomers looking for healthcare services and market opportunities. So I think your advice there is a good one. Number 3, I can hear what you're saying about education. And I like education and healthcare because it is a building block type of area. You can start off with a 1-year certificate or certification, and you can build upon it. And I don't know if they're going to be offering her any, separation opportunities or what kind of help they're going to be giving her. Some companies actually give some education supplements. Some give transition opportunities and outplacement opportunities. I don't know if she has that at her disposal, but definitely a good time to network. And healthcare is a good shining light for a lot of people, so it is an employment opportunity.
What, in your experience, have you seen for opportunities to get a job right now without, her experience for 37 years has been tremendous to work herself up to the point of where she has. And basically, like I said, she's in marketing. So, she could look for marketing jobs elsewhere, too. But what are you seeing? I know for so long they've been saying you have to have that 4-year degree. Well, now with the cost of 4-year degrees, they're sometimes questioning that.
Yeah, I don't, depending again on what she's going for, sometimes the degree is not as important as the experience, and it sounds like she has a lot of experience. So I would target customers, clients, and vendors, right? So you want to look in your immediate sphere for people who understand and can translate her experience into the roles that they have open. So, for example, are there other hospitals? Are there hospices? Are there non-for-profit healthcare? What other, what vendors is the hospital working with? It could be, any number of vendors that service the hospital that she can start to look at as transition opportunities. The other thing is that I would not try to reinvent myself at this time. I would go in selling myself on the same experience that I have. If it's marketing, then you go in as a marketing person so that you can start the ground running on day one.
Okay. Customers, vendors, and what was the third one?
Clients.
Okay.
Hope that helps, Brenda. We'll be praying for your sister as well.
We will appreciate that. Thank you.
Thanks, Brenda. 877-766-3777, 21 after the hour. We're learning about networking and moving to that next level, or just in the case of Brenda's sister being downsized after 37 years on the job. Dr. Tracey Wilen is our guest this morning, 877-766-3777. Tracey, when does 37 years, the experience that Brenda's sister have, become a double-edged sword? Because very often you'll see, 30, she must be expensive. How do you overcome that if now you're suddenly in the job pool as Brenda's sister is?
Yeah, so, well, she may be expensive or she may not be, because sometimes if we are in a company, we're caught in the grade leveling, which is like you're in one grade level and you've maxed out, and so you can't move on. And so there is a frustration, actually, of employees who are stuck at salaries for long periods of time, only getting maybe 1% raise or 2% raise. So I wouldn't always assume that you're too expensive. But with that said, her sister has to dig deep into all of the skills and experience that she can bring in, so that she is worth whatever the salary that she has. And experience goes a long way in healthcare. Let me tell you, because you're in an industry where each experience with whether it's if you're on the clinical side or dealing with the public in marketing keeps building, and so you have to take that your strong card and play that into your resume and make sure that you show how it affects the bottom line.
Yeah, 37 years of experience. I know a lot of people who would want somebody with that depth of knowledge on the team. 877-766-3777, learning about marketing, and especially here at the holidays, we've talked about Thanksgiving, about holiday parties as well. Would Black Friday, I know it's a crazy question, Dr. Tracey, would Black Friday ever fit into my networking opportunities?
Oh, absolutely. I was actually on the road for business. It happened to be Black Friday in Los Angeles, and a woman who was ringing me up happened to see I was from the Bay Area, which is known for technology, and she slipped me her card and said, "I'm a recruiter. I'm a technology recruiter. I happen to notice you live in Palo Alto. I do that during the day, and I work in retail at night, and I'm looking for a lot of candidates. Are you interested, or do you know anyone?" So let me tell you, everybody's very chatty on the lines in the shopping centers. So I think Black Friday can be an incredible opportunity to network and let people know if you're looking for someone or you're looking for something different.
And then to follow up on that, I would imagine if you're going to be in the gym working off those Thanksgiving calories, that I've usually found is a very informal place. And there are a lot of conversations that get started that you probably wouldn't have in another location.
Yes, whether it's in the locker room, in a class, on your spin cycle, people are, there's more people who tend to come to the gym on certain dates, like right after Thanksgiving dinner is a good one. They're full and they're talking about, their great holiday, and it just opens up the door to say, "Oh, hey, where do you work? Oh, hey, I'm looking." And it just starts the networking right there. So I'm a big fan of networking in the gym.
And you're also a fan of networking in some unusual places where we wouldn't think to network to move ahead, and that would include your child's school.
Yeah, so, here are a couple of areas that, schools have parties, they have bake sales, they have Thanksgiving outreach, collecting food, and people just get together. The idea is wherever people get together, there's conversation. Whenever there's conversation, they need talkers and listeners. And if you're a listener, let me tell you, that can go a long way, as we noted before, because people love people to listen to them. So you can actually ingrace yourself with someone just by being a great listener, because they'll remember you. So I say look at the holiday parties, look at church gatherings, look at school parties, look at the gym, look at the stores, look at places where people are just naturally gathering and actually in a really good mood.
Dr. Tracey Wilen, as we look at networking here at 25 after the hour, we were having a conversation with our money person, Bill Ulivari, in the last half hour. And it was an interesting conversation because it was looking at investment based on the message of Matthew's gospel last Sunday, which was using our time and our talent going into the holiday season. Perhaps that time and that talent is used in volunteering. Is volunteering another way to network?
Oh, I love volunteering because it's, one is people are joined together over a common interest, and the interests are humans or or animals or whatever you're volunteering for. And people come in with a very different attitude than they come into the office. It's not abrupt, it's giving, and it's a great time to get to know people over a common interest. And I think that people at the end of the day like to hire people that they know, that they see that they're genuine, and they're very, and they have common interests. So I think volunteering is a great one.
Let's go back to talking about the holiday parties again. Let's say you don't get an invite to a holiday party or your network isn't that big. What would you do? Would you actually be as forward as to throw a party yourself and invite people to your house?
Actually, I've done that.
You have? You have? Really?
I have been a new person, right, and don't know anyone. You don't have any place to go. And one time I was living in an apartment, and then I moved into a condo, and I handed out invitations on every doorstep and said that I'm just having a holiday drop-in. I didn't make it on one of those dates where people, have something defined like Friday and Saturday nights. I just did it on a weekday night and called it a potluck and said, I'll have some, beverages and some food, but I'd love to get to know my neighbors. Well, people showed up. You'd be amazed how people really appreciate the outreach if someone just takes the initiative to break that ice. And I got to know my neighbors. Well, it's very interesting living in Silicon Valley because almost everybody is connected to technology. And, and everybody knows somebody looking for a job or who will need someone in a job. And I was amazed at how many people I just got to know by doing that single gesture. The flip side is there's these meetup groups. I'm sure they have them out by you in other locations. Meetup is where you go online and you look for Meetup. It's actually a destination online. And you find groups that relate to your interests, whether it's hiking or jogging or going out to dinner or wine tasting or networking. You can actually find groups that have events, and you can go join them and meet people that way too.
I'm going to put free Wi-Fi on my holiday invitation, so maybe that will just to, entice people. So meetup.com, holiday parties, certainly at school, the gym, Black Friday, and in the 60 seconds we have left, what about travel? Because, we're just going to be with a ton of people if we're traveling, especially next week for Thanksgiving.
You are, and I can tell you I've met a lot of very interesting people on airplanes and on buses, and where there's going to be delays. With this winter weather that's just sweeping the U.S., there's going to be delays. You're going to immediately have something in common. You're all waiting in line to reroute or hoping your plane will come. And then you just start chatting, and it usually starts with about the delays in the airlines and usually then evolves into stuff about kids or family or jobs. And so a lot of people are either going somewhere for family or coming somewhere from a job event, and then that opens up the dialogue. So you can meet a lot of people.
Dr. Tracey Wilen's book, Employed for Life, 21st Century Career Trends, TraceyWilen.com. We'll put that link in our Morning Air Facebook page so you can get to networking. Dr. Tracey, always a pleasure. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you, John. Happy Thanksgiving to you, too.
29 after the hour, Morning Air on Relevant Radio.